What is going on, bottom line viewers? It's time for week 3 NFL picks. I'm joined by the one, the only, Dilly Vanilli. We are here to preview every game of week 3, give you our picks straight up. We have decided to drop the spread picks just because it's too much to kind of write down and take care of from week to week. And also, it doesn't really work as well on the same show as the straight up picks. So I'd prefer to do it on a different show. We just don't really have the time at the moment to do so, but hopefully we can bring it back in the future. So now that's out of the way, I hope you guys can comment your picks in the comment section. Let us know who you guys are taking this week, and any other NFL related questions, leave it in there. Spark up that conversation. So week number 3, after the first 2 weeks, first week was pretty good. All things considered, week 1 is usually tough. But for whatever reason in recent years, I've found that week 2 has been the most difficult week. And last week, Dylan, you know how difficult it was. You have the standings from week number 2 over there, Dilly Vanilli?
Yes, I do. Let's pull them up right here. Week 2, difficult week because this is the overreact week, if you're Mitch. That's what he calls it. So we had a little bit of an interesting week. Kevole got 9-6-1 last week. Very good. He did very well. I also got 9-6-1. But Mitch went 7-8-1 last week, and AC went 6-9-1. Whew, hard stuff right there. So right now the leaderboard is standing at Kevole at the top. I can't believe it. All the commenters from
he got destroyed last year.
Actually, he tied for last place with you, so I don't know. Yeah, Kev's there 18-12-2. Myself in second place 16-14-2, and AC and Mitch over there in the last place 15-15-2. But nobody's under 500 right now, so we're hoping to get a better week in week 3.
Yeah, week number 3, starting to get a clearer image of what these teams are going to be like, but still, it's still September, and as I always say, September is like an extended preseason for the NFL. We're still trying to figure out the teams. We don't really know who's good, who's bad, who's mediocre till about week 6-ish, but we'll try to do better this week. So let's start off our picks this week with the Thursday night football matchup of the New York Jets versus the Cleveland Brownies. These are 2 stellar teams, Dilly Vanilli, and before the year, we were talking about this game being one of the worst on the NFL schedule, but now it's week 3. The Jets don't look so terrible. The Browns, they don't look so bad either. So you're talking about a matchup that I think could be decent, could be kind of exciting. I think it could be the best Jets-Browns game we've seen since the 60s. Who knows? So this game, though, I think is interesting. I think both teams are sort of underrated because they just can't seem to finish football games. They have talent, but they don't have enough to beat some of the best teams in the NFL. The Browns specifically have pretty much been out-situationed every week. Their kicking game has been awful. They let go of their kicker, Gonzalez, brought in a new kid. Their coaching at the end of games has really been the difference between a win and a loss. They should have beat both the Steelers and the Saints in the first 2 weeks, while the Jets had a disappointing defeat to the rival Dolphins, but in week number 1 put a frigging stomping on the Detroit Lions. So this is an interesting matchup. Dylan, where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go with the Browns getting their first victory of the season, their first victory since 2016. It'll still be funny, though, because they haven't won a Sunday game since Johnny Manziel was the QB, but this will be on Thursday night. So this is an interesting one here. I'm interested to see how these teams play against each other. I'm going to go with the Browns, though, because the Browns have put up good points and good drives against some of the teams that we said going into the preseason were the best in the league. The Steelers, we'll talk about them in a little bit, but it was a good game for them to really start off the year. And then just really bad, like Browns. It just felt like a Browns thing right at the end. They had the lead, or it was about to be a 1-point lead. The extra point was missed, and then the Saints went out to win that game. So it was just bad luck on the Browns' part. But I think they're going to get it done against the Jets team that has some good players, but I think is not overly outstanding. Robbie Anderson's been a big disappointment for me so far. Hasn't really gotten a lot of targets from Sam Darnold. It looks like Quincy Enunwa is his guy. So, that being said, I think the Browns have been showing a little bit more against some of the better teams, and I think they'll get it done here against the Jets for their first win of the year.
It would have been more interesting if this was a game between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, but maybe we'll get that in the future. It's Tyrod Taylor instead. I feel like Taylor's done a decent job with this team so far, but where I've really been impressed with the Browns is on the defensive side of the football. Their pass rush is getting after it. Their secondary is better than people expected, and their linebacking core we already knew was very strong. I think that's the difference in this game. They're playing in the dog pound. It's on Thursday night. It's going to be tough on a rookie quarterback with a short week to prepare for this defense. So I have the Browns winning this game.
There you go.
Sunday. The Cincinnati Bengals against the Carolina Panthers. This is probably the toughest game to pick, in my opinion. These two teams are very, very evenly matched. Both teams have similar strengths. Carolina has a good defensive line and good linebackers. Bengals have a good defensive line and linebackers. They each have one or two guys that are pretty decent in the secondary. And offensively, they have a couple playmakers. Panthers, obviously, Cam Newton being the biggest one. AJ Green being the star of the Bengals. I think that this game is going to be very intriguing to watch, and I think this is going to be one of those where we sort of see a little bit of, okay, who's legit and who's not, and I'm wondering who Dylan thinks is legit in this matchup.
Excuse me. This is a hard one to pick, like you said. A lot of interesting things between these two teams that not 100% sold on either one of them. But they have put up some good and interesting performances through the first 2 weeks. Carolina lost their matchup last week against the Falcons. Bengals won on Thursday Night Football. I'm going to go with the Panthers in this game. The reason I got the Panthers is I think the biggest thing for me is that Joe Mixon won't be playing. I know that actually, if you look at it, Giovanni Bernard had more snaps in last week's game than Joe Mixon, just by a little bit. But I think the biggest thing is that Joe Mixon was a guy that we were looking forward to make some big plays. And it looked like he was making those plays, making some really good runs, especially in that week 1 game that he had there. But I think that's going to be missing a lot. And the Bengals really started off really hot in the first half, but kind of fell and just let the Ravens try to climb back in the second half. And against Carolina with a guy like Cam, who's going to be running a lot, I don't think you can do that. And I think the Carolina Panthers are going to take advantage of that, make some big plays, and get the victory, because they did play a pretty decent game against the Falcons, all things considered, last week. So I'm going to go with the Panthers, but it's going to be a close one for sure.
Yeah, I think it will be a close one. I have concerns in my pick. My pick is going to be the Carolina Panthers. Panthers, you hit on some of the main points. Joe Mixon isn't playing, which I think takes the running game out of it for the Bengals. And that's a huge thing, because when the Bengals are able to establish some balance to their offense, it allows them to, open up the middle of the field, hit guys like Tyler Boyd in the slot or Tyler Eifert at the tight end position. They're able to also pass the ball to Joe Mixon. They almost use him like a receiver. I know they can do that with Giovanni Bernard. I'm just not sold he can be the same impact on the ground for them. I have been impressed with their offensive line, and if the offensive line is able to travel to Carolina and have a good game, I think we're talking about one of the sneaky good offensive lines in the league. But we'll have to see there. The defense, the Bengals have looked pretty good all year, but I think overall I'm a little concerned on how they're going to match up with Christian McCaffrey in this game. I don't really see a clear-cut guy that can really match up with him. And I think the Panthers, their defense has been on and off. I think they've obviously had some injuries to their offensive line, and this is where I really am sort of going with Carolina because they're at home. If this game was in Cincinnati, I'd probably go with Cincinnati. And, it's tough for offensive lines, bad ones like Carolina's, to play on the road. But because they're at home, it's a tough matchup against Lawson and Dunlap and Atkins. But I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers here because Cam Newton, I just think, is going to make a couple more plays than Andy Dalton at the end of it, when Andy Dalton doesn't have his run game and Cam Newton does. So I'm going to go with the Panthers.
This is one of those, I feel like we might be split on it, and two of us are going to get it right and two of us are going to get it wrong. We're like, I don't know. So
I won't feel bad if I get this one wrong, to be honest. And also, I just want to bring up the fact, I think Carolina should probably use DJ Moore like a little bit more, considering he catches the ball like twice and scores 1 touchdown. So, yeah, maybe Carolina, you should put DJ Moore out there. He's actually pretty good, and he's a lot better than Torrey Smith. So let's get on to the next game. The next game is the Buffalo Bills at the Minnesota Vikings. It's the biggest spread of the week, and I think you all know where we're going with this one. The Bills. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going with the Vikings. Yeah, I actually was kind of, I don't know if impressed is the right word by Josh Allen, but like the Bills put up a fight at least against the Chargers in the second half. They came back. They sort of had a little bit of pride, and they weren't necessarily going to go out and retire at halftime other than Vontae Davis. So in this game, they play the Vikings, and they play the Vikings at home, and the Vikings at home are dangerous and dominant, and their defense is going to absolutely obliterate this offensive line. They have no receivers to go to. LaShawn McCoy is banged up. Josh Allen, I pray for you, buddy. Defensively, the Bills have not looked very good. Basically, they've been getting the ball up and down and up and down and up and down the field on them. And Kirk Cousins just had an awesome game against Green Bay, and maybe that offense is starting to click. So I'm going to go with the Vikings in a big way to win this game against the Bills.
I'm going to go with the I'm going to go with the Vikings. Let me know, guys. I've had this dilemma for a couple days now. It doesn't need to be answered till about Sunday, but I need to know. Should I start Kirk Cousins or Ryan Fitzpatrick in fantasy this week? Because I'm having this dilemma. Kirk Cousins played so great against the Packers, and he's playing a really shitty Buffalo team. Or I can go with the hot-handed Fitzmagic against that secondary of the Steelers that gave up 42 points and 6 touchdowns to Mahomes. So answer that question for me if you can. I'm picking the Vikings because they played a good Packers team and brought it up almost to the limit. I mean, if they had a good field goal kicker, which they do now, but if they had it week 2, they would have won that game. And Kirk Cousins played out of his mind, 425 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he could do the same against this defense, maybe even more. You never know. So definitely going with the Vikings.
And I think Cousins is the one guy that nobody's really talking about his performance after last week because it was a tie. If they would have won that game, I think everybody would have looked at that game like, wow, that was really a coming out party for Kirk Cousins to go on the road to Green Bay in Aaron Rodgers' house and outduel Aaron Rodgers. So I think Kirk Cousins is sort of a little probably pissed off that he didn't get any headlines or attention. So he's going to have to go against the Bills and light up the scoreboard. The next game is going to be the Indianapolis Colts at the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz returns in this game, and this is going to be the first duel and matchup between Andrew Luck and Carson Wentz, 2 players that I feel play very similar styles and have had injury histories as of late. I think the Eagles, if Nick Foles was playing, I feel like this game would be an on-the-ropes sort of game for them. I think there's a lot of pressure on them to have Carson Wentz start in this game. I really feel like they were a little bit nervous and kind of almost overdoing it. Like, if you think about it, Carson Wentz, he is starting this week with only really 1 week of full participation in practice. He hasn't played in training camp. He didn't play in the preseason. He hasn't played at all this year. So it's really Carson Wentz in his first week coming back. That says a lot about what they think about Nick Foles and whether or not he can continue to sustain some success and win some games. He's not looked very good. He didn't look good against Tampa Bay. He didn't look good against Atlanta, and he didn't look good in the preseason. So I think there's pressure on Carson Wentz, and I think he will live up to it. I think the Eagles will win this game, but I actually wouldn't be that shocked if the Colts won this game. But the big reason I think that the Eagles will win this game is because they don't lose at home. They're very tough to beat in that building, and their defense is still as good as ever. The defensive line still looks really good, but they did give up a couple of big plays in that game against Tampa Bay, which is concerning against T.Y. Hilton and Andrew Luck. So look out for this game to be closer than people think, but I'm still going to go with the Eagles and the returning Carson Wentz.
This is very difficult for me because I'm like, man, the Eagles don't really have what I'm looking for and trying to make a good pick, a good selection here. I'm trying to go a little bit out of the box with my picks this week. But in no confidence can I give the Colts the win right now. So I'm going to give the Eagles a victory, but check out for the Twitter in the next couple of days. Maybe I'll change it up because I'm not confident in this game for the Eagles. The points you made about Wentz I think are very true. This Eagles organization looked at the first 2 games and said, wow, this is not going the way we wanted it to go. Everybody's injured. Nick Foles isn't playing to his potential, or of course, the potential of winning the fucking Super Bowl just a few months ago, and not getting the wins that they should be. Because I think we all predicted that the Bucs magic was going to end last week, and the Bucs went out there and put up some pretty good numbers against the Eagles defense. So all things considered, I'm not 100% sold on this game. I think it's going to be close, actually. I'm going to say like 24-20 in the Eagles' direction. But I think what's going to get them the advantage is having just that leader and motivator in Wentz, and hopefully he does some good production. So I'm going to go with the Eagles right now, but not 100% sold.
I think another thing to look out for is that the Colts' new head coach is Frank Reich. So I think that's another storyline in itself, is what's Reich going to do against that offense? How is he going to game plan defensively? And maybe he knows a thing or two about this defense that he can install, as well as vice versa. You know, Doug Peterson will know things about Frank Reich, etc. So that's an interesting matchup this week that's kind of under the radar. The next game, the Oakland Raiders at the Miami Dolphins. This is another game that I find tough to pick. The Raiders are a team that are 0-2. The Dolphins are 2-0, but I feel like these teams are fairly even overall. The Raiders did lose a tough one to the Broncos while winning a majority of the game, and then sort of choked in the fourth quarter to give away the lead when Case Keenum made some plays for the Broncos. And in week 1, they were competitive for much of the first half and even into the third quarter with the Rams, and the Rams were able to pull away there. As for the Dolphins, the first 2 weeks have been highly successful. They were able to beat the Titans and beat the Jets, 2 teams we are not so sure about. But at the same time, Dolphins have been pressed on both offense and defense, especially offensively, which I think this game is going to be pretty high scoring. I think it's going to have a lot of offense, passing, running. I think this is a big game, though, for Oakland. I did pick on the Waterboy Reports picks. I picked Miami. But the thing that's making me stall in my pick is that the Dolphins have not been 3-0 since 2002. Whoa. I don't know if they're going to do that in 2018. And I think the Raiders are really desperate to get a victory. So I think it's going to be a high scoring one, like 27-24, but I'm going to go with the Raiders just because I have a bad feeling about the Dolphins dropping this game, even though it is in Miami, which I don't like picking against Miami in their building. So Dylan, what do you think?
Well, go check out that video, guys. Waterboy Report. Good guy. Kev just sent a thing about pick. Oh, it's about picks. Never mind. So yeah, I'm interested about this game, but the first thought in my mind is the one that I've been thinking the whole way through. I'm confident that the Raiders will pick up their first victory of the year. Kevin Durkant can tell me all that he wants in the chat, whether if he's here or not. He'll tell me in the next couple of days, that this Dolphins team is for real. And Tannehill has actually won 9 of his last 10 starts. So maybe that's something in the right inclination of, hey, I got to pick the Dolphins.
And Tannehill looks good.
He does look good. But the thing is, Chucky is pissed. He doesn't want to go out there and start 0-3 on a 10-year contract. You think the Raiders want that? No. And it's always like, okay, 0-1, everybody has to lose at some point. 0-2, okay, we're starting to get scary. Week 3, if you're 0-3, it's almost game over at that point. And the Raiders still want to go out there and make some big plays. And Derek Carr looked good last week. It was like 23 of 24 in his first
he actually had like that fastball back, or like I feel like the last few weeks we've seen, or like the last season, like he would always throw like a lighter ball, and he just felt like he wasn't as aggressive and like just making those tough throws that he made this season before. And this year I think he might be getting back to that, because he just, I don't know, like he was just lofting throwing up lob balls instead of like just throwing it in there with some power. And I think he got that back a little bit last week, and he was very efficient as well.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing for me. I'm thinking that the Raiders are going to get it done. Hopefully Amari Cooper has another big game, or a good game like he did last week. That's good for them going forward. And I just have more confidence. If anything else, I have more confidence in the Raiders to get it done. So I'm going to go with the Raiders.
All right, let's get to the chat for the first time today.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Everybody in the chat, comment below. I'm going to go to the top here. All right. Rob says, what's up? Sebastian says, hi. What's up, guys? I know you guys are obviously in the chat a lot. Deshaun says he's picking New England over Detroit. We'll talk about that game a little bit later. He's also picking the Seahawks. So we'll talk about that also. Sebastian has got the Redskins actually beating the Packers 27-23. In our talk with the Browns, Rob says he's going to give them their first win, 17-13. Deshaun also giving them a win, 27-17. But Sebastian's got them the Jets, winning that game. Hot Take Hockey in the chat. What's up? I'm pretty sure it's Fitty, but I don't know. It could be a John. You never know.
Could be John.
Could be. He's usually on his personal account, though. So he said, after dark streams from the famous Mitch, Tom Brady, Milani, and Dilly, Zeke Elliott, Benilly. Yes, of course. Deshaun's got a 20-16. Oh, yeah, I brought that up already. He said Giants are going to win by 20 against Houston and Deshaun Watson. Wow, that's big money.
Can the Giants score that many points?
I don't know. They were shit. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second. Bodo is giving the Browns their first victory off a Jets missed field goal at the end of the game. So that's interesting. Let's see here. Deshaun's taking the Bengals in their game. Let's see a couple more here. Kevin James is asking Fitzpatrick or Phillip Rivers to start in his fantasy league this week. That's interesting.
I think you gotta go Fitzpatrick.
Gotta go Fitzmagic, bro. Yeah, Chargers against the Rams defense. That's tough. I would not want to start that. And we saw what the Steelers defense was capable of last week. So I think I would lean towards Fitzmagic in that game, personally. Again, I asked my question. Fitzmagic or Cousins, because I think Cousins has a chance this week.
I think Cousins, but it's up to you.
We'll see. I'm very intrigued. It is against AC too, so this is a very personal fantasy game. I got to beat him. Let's see here. Deshaun's got Pittsburgh over Tampa Bay. Let's see. A couple of more Eagles. Everybody's picking the Eagles, but closer than you would expect. Deshaun says Miami by a touchdown. And that is it. That is what we got so far.
Okay. The next game on the schedule is the Baltimore Ravens at home versus the Denver Broncos, the 2-0 Case Keenum Denver Broncos. This is going to be a defensive football game. These two teams have good front sevens, well coached in that department. And the offenses are, they've been okay. They haven't been great or anything, but they've been decent enough. Baltimore sort of had a down game last week. I wouldn't say that that's the Baltimore we should expect for the entire season. I think it's somewhere in between week 1 and week 2. And it was against a tough divisional opponent, while Denver was able to make a comeback against the Raiders, maybe making it look better than it was for a majority of that game. Yeah. And in week number 1, they're able to win against the Seahawks. So two teams that we don't really know so much about. And the Ravens did lose to the Bengals while beating on the Bills, who we think is the worst team in the NFL. So this is an interesting game because we don't really know too much about these teams, even in week number 3, Dylan. Who are you going to go with here?
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos in this matchup. I've got more confidence in what I've seen out of them than I've seen out of the Ravens. And maybe it's just because of one guy, and his name is Joe Flacco. Flacco, I mean, he has had his moments against Denver. Of course, that big game when on the Super Bowl run where he had to make the big throws in the overtime victory. He got them the big win. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl, but that was 6 years ago, and we know what Joe Flacco in the playoffs is capable of. Regular season Flacco, I can't trust. I've got more confidence in the Denver defense to get it done. Philip Lindsay is 3rd in the NFL in rushing. He wasn't even drafted. So
he looks good.
He looks really good.
Got some what, Dilly?
He's got some what? Fire?
Burst.
Oh, that's an Alfred Morris term. I don't know about the burst, but yeah, he's got the burst over here. I really like what I saw out of him, though. The first 2 weeks, you gotta like these guys that are coming in here making some big plays, especially when you're undrafted. Corey Clement last year, he did his thing. Look at that, he won a Super Bowl. So now in this scenario, I think that's going to be a big thing. Are the Ravens going to be able to stop these guys that we don't know too much about, but are making big plays and big things? Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, they look good, which is promising. Case Keenum didn't play great last week, but he did lead the comeback enough to get it done. And that's what you need to do in this league sometimes. So scrappy games, It works out if you win. I'm going to go with the Broncos over the Ravens.
All right, I'm going to go in the opposite direction with the Ravens because I had more confidence in the Ravens before the season started. My confidence hasn't wavered that much. I do believe that was a tough matchup on Thursday Night Football on the road against a divisional opponent who I think people are underestimating in the Bengals. The Ravens, I think, will have a bounce-back game here. I think their defense will have a bounce-back game. I am intrigued to see a couple of matchups. How does the offensive line of Baltimore deal with Von Miller, who's been beasting and feasting this year so far? And then also, what's Case Keenum going to give you in this game in terms of the passing game and getting it to Emmanuel Sanders, getting it to Demaryius Thomas, as well as on the opposite side? Is Joe Flacco going to be able to hit his receivers consistently in this game? I want to see Alex Collins finally get a breakout game this year. I feel like it should have happened the first 2 weeks, but hopefully it's this week. I'm going to go with the Ravens because Baltimore is kind of one of the most underrated home field advantages I feel in the NFL. So I'm going to go with the Ravens, and the Broncos have had 2 home games, which I think also sway the results in their fashion because in Mile High, it just seems like the Broncos have like 9 home games a year, but I don't know. It's just me. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
You and the dang home games over here with the Broncos.
Yes, sir. Now, another interesting one, Dylan. New York Giants, Houston Texans. Our boy over here, who was it that said they were going to win by 20?
Was it Deshaun? I think it was Deshaun Drakeford over here.
He's wrong.
He's won?
The Houston Texans will win, finally, this year. They should have won last week. It was embarrassing that they didn't win, to be quite honest with you. I think this game is going to be very close, though. I think it's a 6-point spread right now. I don't feel like it should be a 6-point spread. So if you're betting point spread, probably take the Giants. I think it's going to be a closer game than that because I just haven't seen enough from the Texans so far this year that really makes me say, hey, the Texans are legit or good or in any regard. And the Giants have played close-ish games. I mean, the first game was close against the Jaguars. The second game against Dallas ended up being close, but wasn't really too close throughout the game. And the Texans, they lost to a team without their starting quarterback and their 2 starting left and right tackles. That's concerning. You know, Deshaun Watson did look better in week 2. I think he's going to make more strides in week 3. I'd look for maybe a couple deep plays in this game against the Giants secondary. I am concerned about the Giants pass rush in this game. The Texans offensive line is not good, but the Giants have not really been able to get much pressure after the quarterback, which I feel like almost negates itself there. On the opposite side of the ball, what's my rule, Dylan?
On the offensive line side?
Yep.
Bad offensive lines don't travel well.
Are the Giants a bad offensive line?
They're fucking garbage.
And they're facing J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, Jadeveon Clowney, hopefully is playing in this game. So that being said, I feel like the Texans finally can take advantage of an offensive line and just destroy. Now, I think that the Giants can get it to some of their playmakers like Odell and Shepard and Ingram because I don't feel like the Texans have great matchups in the secondary with those guys. But I just think Deshaun's going to be out dueling Eli. And I think so far Eli has been the worst quarterback in the NFL this year. So I'm going to go with the Texans at home.
When the Chargers and the Giants played last year, were they both 0-4? Was that the record that they had?
Probably.
I think it was 0-4. This is how I feel. This is kind of the game that I feel is similar to that. It's a little bit earlier, but both teams are teams that we thought coming into this year are going to be better than what they did last year. They're going to have their playmakers back. They're going to make some key adjustments. They're going to win football games. The Giants obviously fired Ben McAshit, so they were going to do something better, right? Well, here we are at 0-2. The reason I'm going to take the Texans is 2 reasons. One, the Texans played the Patriots week 1. That's not an easy game to win, and they still played close enough to getting that win. And the Titans is a divisional matchup that you're not guaranteed to win, even though they played kind of garbage. It is a divisional victory, so I take it a loss. So I take it a little bit less than a really bad team. And the Giants look shit. I'm sorry, they didn't. Their offense has the playmakers to do something great, especially Saquon Barkley, but they don't have a cohesive quarterback. They don't have a quarterback that can make them get key victories. And I think Will Fuller was a big addition to the Texans lineup last week. I think he'll come back in here and make some big plays this week. I'm not confident in what the Giants are bringing to the table if Eli is their quarterback going forward. So I'm going to go with the Texans. I think the Texans, I won't say win convincingly because they haven't done anything convincingly so far, but I think they'll have a solid victory to boost up their confidence.
I also think with Eli, it's like he's scared to get hit. Like every play, he like goes down early.
Shit, that one hit that he took from Jalen Smith, I wouldn't want to run anymore. I wouldn't want to do that anymore.
The next game, the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy G. They bounced back last week with a big win over the Detroit Lions. And the leading rusher in the NFL, Matt Breida.
What?
They take on the leading rusher of the NFL last year, who's not having a good season so far, Kareem Hunt, and arguably the MVP of the NFL, Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
It's in Kansas City. Dilly Vanilli. This should be a high-scoring matchup. Which offense is going to outduel the other?
I'm going to go with the Kansas City offense to get it done this week. Maybe going with the hot hand a little bit. And I still like what San Francisco is bringing to the table, but we watched the game, Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Maybe it gives us a little bit more perspective because we watched it live as it happened. But Patty Mahomes was going off. I mean, he was doing it against the Steelers, who we didn't have much confidence in Kansas City to win. 2 of us picked the Chiefs, 2 of us picked the Steelers, but we didn't expect them to go off for 42 points in any case, either or. So I was very intrigued by what the Kansas City Chiefs did last week. I was very happy that the Kansas City Chiefs did what they did, and he looks like a beast. Mahomes looks like an absolute beast. The thing is, the one concern, or 2 concerns. One, Kareem Hunt has not put up a lot of yards. Like you said, he's kind of been a disappointment. And their defense doesn't look like they can stop a nosebleed. But if Mahomes can put up the points and he throws to the right guys, especially that combination with him and Tyreek Hill, it's going to be a killer. San Francisco, they played a close game against Detroit last week, 30-27. It was a good victory for the team, and Matt Breida looks freaking great. I mean, who would have expected him and Lindsley to be 2 of the 3 running backs top rushing after 2 weeks? So, but that being said, I just think I got more confidence in the Chiefs making some big victories. And if Mahomes is on pace for 80 touchdowns this season, 80 throwing touchdowns, he's got to keep that pace up. So 5 touchdowns from, I don't know. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'll say, let's say 35-28. I'll go 35-28.
The Chiefs just seem borderline unstoppable on offense at this point. And Patrick Mahomes is everything that I hoped he'd be and everything I said he might be so far in his career. He's awesome. He makes every throw. Like, this is a quarterback that no disrespect to Donovan McNabb, but I feel like more than any quarterback that Andy Reid has ever had, he like unleashes this offense to like the next level because of how he can throw it, you know, and just like his ability to just make plays. It's just next level, and he's already a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, it seems. So
he had more incompletions less incompletions than touchdowns last week. You know how insane that is in the NFL?
And this week, against the 49ers secondary, who got pretty much lit up against Matt Stafford, I don't see that changing. I don't think that Kareem Hunt will get his game going this week, but I don't think it's really going to matter because I just think the way that they're able to use that passing game and all the motion and all the crazy thing Andy Reid does, and they just add these wrinkles to the game plan every week. I think they're going to be able to slice and dice the secondary of the 49ers, and Kansas City should win this game. I'm going to say it's going to be like 34-24 for the Chiefs at home. I think the 49ers do find ways to score, but I just don't think they have enough talent on both sides of the ball in key areas to win this game. The Chiefs defense is something to be concerned about, but until they face a team that is balanced on both sides and have an equal offense to them, it's going to be tough for any team to beat them. So I'm going to go with Kansas City here over the 49ers, but hopefully Matt Breida continues his run because I do like him. So 49ers are going to lose to the Chiefs, unfortunately.
The
next game, Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, a huge victory last week over the New England Patriots. I see Jaguar fans talking about how they are now the best team in the AFC and they're going to win the Super Bowl and how they've basically been passed the baton, so to speak. Yeah, okay, whatever. But anyways, Jaguars have had a team that they have not been able to beat, and that's the Tennessee Titans. For whatever reason, they dropped both games last year to the Tennessee Titans. But there are key things in this game that I think go to the Jacksonville's favor. Obviously, it's in Jacksonville, first off. Blake Bortles seems to play way better there. Their offensive line is amazing. I talked to Mike and Kevole about that yesterday on the Pittsburgh video. Jacksonville's offensive line is definitely top 3 right now. It could be the best. The Patriots couldn't even lay a finger on Blake Bortles. When they run the football, they don't even need to open up a hole because they're so strong and dominant. They can push you back 4 yards, and the running back can just run behind your ass and pick up 4 yards. Andrew Norwell bullies people. Their defensive line is just as good, if not better. And the Titans, they're still struggling with injuries on that offensive line, and Marcus Mariota still might not even play. And even if he does, I don't know how much better he is than Blaine the Magic Man Gabbert, to be quite honest with I'm going to go with the Jaguars. If Bortles continues to play the way he did against New England, which I don't expect to be any consistency there, but if he does, this team can definitely win the Super Bowl. I'm just not willing to say it just yet. Jags are going to win this game, and I think they're going to another statement here. The only concern about this game is that the Jaguars come out and lay an egg after a big win.
This could be a trap game. We said you brought it up. The Titans always somehow find a way to get the Jags number, especially in the last couple of years. But I'm going to be pissed if the Jaguars, Blake Bortles puts up 300 and whatever yards and 4 touchdowns against Tom Brady and the Patriots. I know he didn't play against Tom Brady on defense, but go with me here. Against the Patriots, and then go out there and lose to Marcus Mariota or Blaine Gabbert. You're going to piss me off personally. So that being said, I'm picking the Jaguars because I think they did very good last week. Again, the game we watched a lot of. They used a bunch of different guys. Keenan Cole looked great on offense. Corey Grant was cooking up the Patriots defense. Every time Blake Bortles needed to make a throw, it was a check down to Corey Grant, and he made the first down.
It's 3rd and 11. They check it down to Corey Grant. He still gets the first down.
Still gets it. It was insane. So you're going to piss me off if that happens against the Patriots, and you can't do that against the Titans. I'm just saying right now. So I really like that. I think it's going to be an interesting game, but I think the Jags will pick up the victory. I like what I saw on offense a lot last week. Defense is still great, and I still have a lot of questions about the Titans going forward, even if they did pick up a victory against the Texans. So I'm going to go with the Jags.
And Keelan Cole, I expect him to have a big play in this game.
Yeah.
I think he'll score a touchdown, a deep one too.
A deep one.
Next game, and then we'll get to comments.
Yeah.
New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. Huge game this week. Which game are we streaming?
This one.
This one, right? Okay, so Saints, Falcons. This is an NFC North matchup. Usually the team that's at home ends up winning the matchup basically every year. And two teams that know each other very well. Last week, Atlanta was at home. They were able to beat Carolina 31-24. And Atlanta actually ran the ball pretty well in that game. But the one thing that really concerns me is that they were getting shredded by Cam Newton with no tight end or offensive line or lack of receivers. They gave up over 300 yards.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Saints here. It might be a little bit of a surprising pick, but I feel like the Saints, usually around week 3 or 4, they start to find their game. I think it was a confidence booster that they were able to come out with probably a victory they didn't really deserve to win. So I think that's the type of win where you get the win, but you still have things that you need to fix and you know you need to fix them. I think the Saints are going to light up the scoreboard in this game because just the way that Carolina played them, and also the fact that I think you're sleeping on that Browns defense, people out there. And I think the Saints, with Drew Brees, with Alvin Kamara, they're going to be able to move the ball with no Deion Jones or Keanu Neal on the field. I picked Atlanta last week to win. I don't see them winning this week because I think New Orleans offense will be able to execute, move the ball better, control the game a little bit better. And I think the Saints defense probably won't stop them very much within the 20s, but I think when it comes to the red zone, they can make a couple of stops, which is going to enable them to win the game in a shootout. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
I picked Atlanta to win their first 2 games of the year. I can't go for a third time in a row. Third time is not the charm. I'm going with the Saints. The thing is that the Saints played very shaky, but I think people were just overreacting a little too much to what the Saints are doing. People are putting them at like 15 in the power rankings. All right, chill out a minute. The offense is still very good. Like you said, the Browns' defense is still underrated, and they're going to get the plays done, I think, this week. Kamara is a fucking beast. This man, put some respect on this man's name. He's very, very good. One of the best in the game. He's going to cook up the Atlanta defense. And by the way, you know, we didn't bring this up last week. Well, we did, but it wasn't that big of a deal last week because we were playing a team we think we can win. But in this situation, they got no Keanu Neal. They have no Deion Jones. I think they're really going to be hurting in that department when they don't have two of their best defensive players.
And you know, if anyone can game plan against those to pick on those two backups, it's Sean Payton.
Yeah. In Drew Brees, again, the top-tier quarterback, he's going to go after it. Michael Thomas, again, he will have so many damn receptions. If you have him in a PPR league, hate you. But you're getting it done. You're doing it right. You're doing it right. So this is a hard game. Like you said, the home team usually wins these games, but I got more confidence in the Saints. I'm glad that the Falcons put out the performance that they did against the Panthers, but I still have questions. I might be saying that all year against the Falcons, but I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. I'm interested to see how this game unfolds.
And for anyone saying this is the upset, this is not an upset. 63% of the people are picking Atlanta, as well as the fact that they are favored in Vegas. So you're picking the favorite, not the upset. Green Bay at Washington. We're picking the upset.
Are we going to comments?
Okay, I'll tease that. Green Bay at Washington.
That's our next game. There you go. I was like, we got to go to comments. By the way, it was John that was on Hot Take Hockey, so I was wrong on that for his stuff. Second City, CM Punk says, torn. Should he go Wentz or Goff in his?
I would go Goff just because we don't know what we're going to get from Wentz yet, and Goff's been pretty good.
Yep, I would agree. Ram, fixation Z. I think that's what it is. What face will Eli make this week? I'm going to go with the one where it's very much in pain. He's going to be crying a little bit. He's going to get one of these faces.
I'm going to go with this one.
Just a fear shocked with the tongue out a little bit. I like that.
JJ Watt?
Jadeveon Clowney? Oh, that's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. There's only one other team that's going to be with more pressure. We'll talk about that in a minute. Bodo says Mitch Peterman is the worst quarterback by far. I don't know what that was.
He doesn't count.
It doesn't count? Oh, because he's
not a starter.
Not a starter right now.
There are backups better than Eli.
You talking about Gina? All right, wait. Giants backup is better than Eli?
No, there are backups in the NFL that I believe are better than Eli Manning.
I agree. Second City CM Punk disagrees, though. He says Russell Wilson is more trash than Eli.
Okay, you're crazy.
That's going to get you heated. I know you're defending him on Twitter on Monday. I didn't watch the game, but Rob says Mahomes will fall back to earth at some point when the defenses get more film on him.
I agree that the Chiefs are usually very fast starters. Their offense usually slows down at the end of the year in the playoffs specifically, which I think will happen a little bit, but still the guy is awesome. If you watch him play, he's awesome. There is no fluke.
The guy was my favorite quarterback going into last year's draft.
Yeah, same. So, I mean, he's everything we hoped he would be so far. We'll see if it continues. I'm pretty sure it will.
Yep. Bodo says Jags will win 27-10. Rob says 24-17 Jags. Jacksonville win for Deshaun. Training Solutions Jags. Everybody, I think, is picking the Jags, including Deshaun. Bodo says it's not a trap game. He's in reference to me because I brought that up. Said could be. Could be.
The thing with the Jags, I said it before the year, they can always lose these games where Blake Bortles just comes out and sucks, and then they lose like 12-9.
12-9, yeah. That would really suck if you lost that game. Deshaun's going 38-31 Falcons. You brought up my name. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it will be for sure. Trading Solution says fact or fiction. Saints are very shaky. I'm saying fiction. Overreaction.
I'm saying they're figuring it out.
Everybody's overreacting. That's what my opinion is. A lot of people think it's fact, though. Let's see. Should I pick up Clement or play Alex Collins for my injured Jay Ajayi in fantasy?
Collins.
I think the Ravens are going to implement him more in the run game this week. I think that's their focus going in the game against Denver.
It better be.
Well, I think they said it themselves. I think Harbaugh said it himself. So.
Oh, okay.
That's I would say Collins.
He's by far their most electric player on offense.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Not even the boy Michael Crabtree can take over that one.
Well, Crabtree's not. I don't know if he's ever been considered electric.
In college, he was. In Texas Tech, he was fucking electric.
Sure.
Just like the boy Wes Welker from Texas Tech.
True.
Let's see. And last question: Fitzpatrick or Jameis to start after week 3? Gotta go. You gotta keep the hot hand, and I mean his outfit.
I don't think Jameis has a chance to start till after the bye week, which I believe for them is week 6.
That was like say week 6. Because even if he does come back, he still has missed 3 games and all that stuff. He isn't really in the football shape. So, all right, next game.
Okay, the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Redskins. The team that we can't figure out and the team that everybody loves is the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
This line's only -3 for the Packers, and only 53% of the people are picking the Packers, which is interesting. I'm not sure why, because I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too good to be true, but they have Aaron Rodgers. Their defense looks a little bit better, although it got shredded by the Vikings, but I don't really blame that too much. They arguably could have beat the Vikings. You could go either way there. And, you know, I just feel like the Redskins, they're too hard to read at this point. I think the Redskins could stay competitive in this game, but do I see them possibly winning it? I feel like it's coming down to the wire, and I just trust Aaron Rodgers to get it done at the end of the day. So I'm going to go with the Packers. It's really as simple as that. Not too much X's and O's involved, although I have been sort of impressed with the Redskins' pass rush, and they have been forcing more turnovers this year. But they lost to the Colts at home. Like, I can't pick you when you lose to the Colts at home. So I'm going with the Packers.
This again, Redskins are going to be a team that pisses me off and picks every.
And they're going to be hard to pick because one week they'll be like way better than you think, and one week they'll be way worse.
Yeah. I'm going with the Packers. They played against the Vikings and they still did well. A tie is a tie. They kind of gave up some points at the end, but the thing is I don't have confidence in the Redskins. One week they play again. The Cardinals are the second worst team in the league, in my opinion. So that's how they got the win there. And then they played a team that we consider bottom 5, somewhere around there, near the bottom 5, and yet they still lost there at home. Like, what are you giving me? What are you trying to show me here? So that being said, I think I got more confidence in the Packers. Make some big plays. I don't really know what the Aaron Rodgers injury is right now. Again, still there's some bruising. I don't really know, but I think they're still going to get the victory, even if they're at home. It's the first Packers road game of the year, so I want to see how they play on the road. And I just got a little more confidence in them doing their thing and the defense stepping up. So, Packers.
Okay, the next game, the Battle of L.A. Chargers, Rams. Still don't know the status on Joey Bosa. We do know the status on the Rams. The Rams look really good. Jared Goff looked better. Todd Gurley scoring touchdowns. Not racking up the yards like you'd expect, but he's scoring touchdowns. Defense looks ultra impressive, which I think is the biggest thing to take away. The Chargers, they got a bounce back win over the worst team in the NFL last week. They went out to a huge lead and then sort of kind of eased their way to the finish line. Keenan Allen is a beast. Melvin Gordon's having a great year so far. Phillip Rivers looks awesome. Their defense is a little shaky right now. This game, though, is interesting because it's not really a home or away game for either team. You would say it's a slight home game for the Rams, but the Chargers aren't necessarily going on the road. So it's like an even playing field almost for these two teams. This is by far the most talented team the Rams have played so far in the Chargers. The Rams have had a cupcake schedule so far. So that's something to be intrigued by. How legit are the Rams? Are they the Super Bowl champs like everyone's claiming them to be? Or are they maybe a little bit overrated? Because and also we have to see how the Chargers are, right? So it's a very interesting, intriguing matchup. I'm going to go with the Rams just because of the way they've looked in the first 2 weeks, and they're just looking a little bit more consistent and together. The Chargers are just a little bit too a mess, and you never know with the Chargers. So I'm going to go with the Rams, but honestly, this game could be really close, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had that patented sort of surprise Phillip Rivers win this week.
This was an interesting one. This is one that we highlighted for sure as one of the bigger games of the early start of the season. Two teams that we have high hopes for. By the way, I'm very sad that StubHub Arena is not getting this game. I mean, it's just depressing, man. Really depressing. They needed those tickets. I'll call Kev for the number.
Where's Kevole when you need him?
Where is he, man? But yeah, the Rams looked very good. The first game was an interesting one because they started off very lukewarm, and then they came out there and did their thing. And then they destroyed the Cardinals last week. So in this game, it's going to be a test against a team that we really like coming into the preseason. And they've done the Chargers have done some good things, some bad things. Melvin Gordon looks like a beast. He stole my fantasy points from Keenan Allen. Don't do that again this week, please. Please don't do that. I need the win this week. But I'm going to go with the Rams. I've got more confidence. Like you said, Gurley's getting the touchdowns, and yards are a thing. But if you score, then it's not that big of a deal. And I think they're going to get it done against the Chargers defense. I'm going to go 28-24. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be an interesting matchup, and I think it'll be back and forth. But at the end of the day, I think they'll score a touchdown late to win this game.
Okay, this comment's bugging me. KK says, dude is taking Michael Lombardi's stuff and passing as his own. Well, actually, I always claim when I say if somebody said it before I say it. So, and I've said it multiple times that Michael Lombardi says this or Michael Lombardi says that. Or whoever I say said this, I'll say that. So if you've watched me long enough or watched this channel long enough, you know that I say the source before I say it most times. If not, it's already something that I've said this person says it, and then I'll say it without sourcing him because I've already said it multiple times. So I'm just putting that out there. I don't take other people's stuff and pass it as my own. I'll say things that I think I believe in that people have said. So like, I'm not just saying stuff because other people said it. I'm saying stuff because I watch with my eyes. I see something. I agree with that person said. Then I say, hey, this person had this point and I agree with them. And then I go from there. I'm not taking his stuff. Okay. I'm just putting
I wonder what comment that was referring to. I didn't know what.
Maybe the offensive line comment because he says that often. And I've said before, right, Dylan, that's what Michael Lombardi says.
Yes. Bad offensive lines travel poorly.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, just wanted to say that. He's probably new to the channel, so just putting that out there. Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks. Dilly Vanilli.
First off, I want to get a little small rant to Vegas. How do you have the Vegas line for the Seahawks? Come on, bro.
It's in Seattle. Only reason.
Oh, it's got to be the only reason, bro. It really annoys me because if you looked at both games, even if you don't think the Cowboys played amazingly aggressive in their game, the Seahawks shit the bed on Monday Night Football. I don't really know where people are looking at for that. Let's talk about both teams. The Cowboys, they were aggressive in the first quarter. Really liked that first drive. Tavon Austin, boom. Saw something that I really enjoyed, really liked out of that, and I was impressed with it. And then we just really stalled on offense for the most part. Had another good drive in the fourth quarter to make it done. But it wasn't a very great offensive game, but there were some good positive things. And I think Zeke this week will be even. Defensively, great game. 6 sacks against the Giants. Not the best offensive line in the world, but we're talking about the Seahawks who have a terrible offensive line. And the thing is that we've seen what the whole thing about the Dallas Cowboys is that their defense is getting better. I think they're top 10 right now. Based on what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, they're top 10. They're going to put the pressure on them. D-Law is going to be getting some sacks on Russell Wilson. And I think Seahawks fans should be looking forward to that this week. Not in a good way, but they should see that that's going to happen. Seahawks offense, I think they're in a lot of trouble. I really think that this team is in a lot of trouble, and it's not because they're playing my Cowboys. I just want everybody to think that or to know that. That's not the reason I'm saying that. But there were certain times, there was a certain drive during the game where, like, they get a gain of 4 from Penny. I don't know if you guys showed this, but it was a tweet that I liked. They ran for 4 yards on the first play. Wilson's checking it after they get a first down, and then Pete Carroll has to take a timeout. Wilson's verbally pissed off at what Pete Carroll is doing. Like, why are you calling a timeout? We're trying to drive here with like 7.5 minutes left in the game, down 7. There's a lot of dysfunction with the Seahawks, and I don't see them picking up very many victories this year. I said they were going to go 5-11. I still have that thing. I still have that confidence in them going 5-11 because in the first 2 games, they haven't showed off what the Seahawks are capable of, or at least the team vibe. So I'm going with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys offense needs to do a lot better. They're going to have to score more points eventually, but the defense is going to put pressure. They're going to get absolutely killed. The offensive line will be destroyed for the Seahawks. And the Cowboys just have to make a couple of big plays, and Zeke has got to be eating to win. So going Cowboys.
I don't have much to add to that. I'm going with the Cowboys. I believe they're +1.
Yeah, +1.
Yeah. 53% of people are picking the Seahawks right now. Like we said at the beginning, that's probably because of their home field, and typically in the past, it's been one of the better home fields in the league. But Russell Wilson can't do it all. You're going to see that again this week. The Dallas D-line is legit. Their defense has played really well. They'll come with something for Russell Wilson. It will be tough for him to beat. And overall, I think that the Cowboys, this is a good matchup for their offense because I think that the Seahawks defensive line, they're small. They have trouble with big plowing offensive lines, and I think that Zeke will have a pretty good game. So I think that will be enough for the Cowboys to win their run game and their defensive line. I'll say that they win like 24 to 13, something like that.
I do want to say, though, if Joe Buck calls this game, I'll switch.
Okay, yeah, Seahawks are winning.
Seahawks are winning. Okay, I put the stat up in the chat, right? 2017, Cowboys not on Fox at all, 5-1 last year. On Fox with no Joe Buck, they were 4-2. With Joe Buck on Fox, 0-4. Bullshit, it's conspiracy theory, but I'm just letting you know. But no, I'm still Dallas.
Next game, Bears, Cardinals. 66% of people are picking the Bears after the big win. They should have won first week, too. They're going to win week 3. They're going to start 2-1.
Yep.
They're playing the second worst team in football, even though it's in Arizona. I do think that Arizona's run defense will kind of slow down the run game of the Bears, which was disappointing against the Seahawks. But Trubisky had a fairly good game in the first half, made a couple plays in the second half to separate themselves from the Seahawks. And the defense has been animals. Will Mack looks like a beast. And Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, is not stopping. So I think that overall the Bears are a really talented team, much better than the Cardinals. And I just don't think they have much to worry about in this matchup. I just think they're much more talented. So I'm going to go with the Bears, and they might be one of the best first-half teams in football.
Yeah, I got to go with the Bears. If I had Survivor, which I don't, thank you, Saints, I would pick the Bears this week. The Bears are confident in their game.
I'm going Vikings.
You would go Vikings? Any team that they – I feel like we can't pick on the Bills every week. If you're going with that as your
Prove me till I'm wrong, bro. Prove me till I am wrong.
They're going to win one game, and it's going to be like, oh, shit, I could have done it. But
by the way, Survivor, Vikings, that's my pick. I forgot. I'm still in it with Kevole.
We'll get Kevole.
Picked the Bears over his own Seahawks last week.
AC did have a good
Who does that?
He gets AC knew it, though. It was a win-win. Because if the Bears win, he knew it. He was going to be a survivor. If the Seahawks win, oh, shit, it's Seahawks are 1-1. So, Rosen's going to go in a coffin this week. Or just using Brad. Even if it isn't Rosen. Like, I still don't know if they should go with Rosen. Because the Cardinals' offense looks bad. They look so bad. They can't put up anything. And I know
Sam Bradford doesn't throw the ball past 4 yards.
Which worked when he was healthy in Minnesota, but like it's so bad, man. It's so bad. They put up how many points last week? 3? Is it 3?
I don't even know.
If they put up 3, they were the only team through 2 weeks and not even put up 10 combined points. You know how sad that is? 10 combined points.
They haven't scored a touchdown yet.
Let me make sure that's correct.
No,
they didn't even score a point.
They did, but they missed the extra point. I'm wrong.
No, they didn't score a point last week. They lost 34.
They had 6 points.
They had 6 points and the Redskins lost in week 1.
Yeah.
That's sad. They don't even have 10 offensive points total through 2 weeks. Their leading scorer is Phil Dawson. Come on, bro. Get something going. So, Bears. That's all I got to say.
Sunday night football. The New England Patriots travel to Detroit to take on their old coach, former coach, Matt Patricia and his beard, as well as Matt Stafford, and the boys.
Yep.
The Patriots coming after a loss.
A big loss.
It's safe to say they don't really lose 2 in a row. It's also safe to say that they don't lose after getting blown out pretty much. I mean, they didn't really get blown out, but like it was close.
Yeah.
So then they go out and they say, hey, we don't really have an X receiver. We don't really have a guy that can stretch the field, make big plays down the field. We've heard that this guy named Josh Gordon, also known as the Flash, is available. So they go out, they trade for him for a 5th round pick, and they get him in the building. He's number 10 now. He has his locker besides Tom Brady's. And my prediction is that Josh Gordon will not only play in this game, but he'll score a touchdown in this game.
Oh, God. Okay.
The Patriots are going to win 38-17.
Woo! 17-38 if you're a Fetty Wap guy. No, 15.
Exactly.
I think Brett still hates me for that.
I still hate you for that.
It's real, and you know it's not real anymore. Okay. The biggest signing of the week for the Patriots was not Josh Gordon. It was Cyrus the Virus coming back to the team. Let's go. Okay. That being said, I don't think Josh Gordon will do great in this first game, just because they still have very many questions. And he has to learn an offense so quickly. Like later on in the season, yeah, okay. But in this game, I don't even think they need him, honestly, because the Patriots are going to beat the Lions. There's dysfunction in the Lions organization. There's a lot of dysfunction in the league. We're going to get to a team next that's even more dysfunctional than maybe any other team in the league. But I think the Lions have some questions about what they're doing so far. They put up a good performance in the second half to almost win that game against the 49ers, which would have really been a good confidence boost. They didn't get it done. I think the Patriots will come out. They saw what happened against the Jags, a team that's very, very good, and say, hey, let's get our revenge this week against our old defensive coordinator. Let's get it done. Patriots are going to win this game, and it's in prime time, so they have to show everybody under the bright lights that they're still the Patriots.
Oh, also, Sony Michel will score 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Okay.
Making predictions.
So 2 touchdowns.
That's 21 points of the 38.
Two touchdowns for Sony Michel.
Broncos will score another one.
Wrong. Yes. Okay. I need him to have a bigger game this week.
And
that's 4 of the 5. Who's the other one? Who's the other one getting out?
That's tough.
I'm gonna go with the Chris Hogan touchdown.
That maybe.
If that's gonna be the case,
maybe James White. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, we're not guaranteeing 38 points, but that's based on that prediction.
Yes. Okay.
There you go.
All right, and Monday Night Football. Dylan ranked this as arguably the worst game in the NFL this year, but it is one of the best games this year.
We're going to stream it.
And we're going to stream it because we got Fitzmagic, the biggest G in the NFL, versus Antonio Brown. Is he playing?
Yes.
Trade me. Le'Veon Bell, is he? No, he's not playing.
No, definitely not.
Big Ben Roethlisberger. And the 0-1-1 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
And their trash defense. Did I mention that the Buccaneers are 2-0? Did I mention that Fitzpatrick is an MVP candidate? Did I mention that Deshaun Jackson looks like 2012 Deshaun Jackson? And did I mention that the Bucs will lose this game? What? Because the Steelers need to win this game. If the Steelers don't win this game, you might as well turn your TV off, throw your jersey away, and just call it a season, because the Steelers have to win this game, or else somebody's getting fired, somebody's getting cut, they're not making the playoffs, see you later. So the Steelers got to win this game, and if I pick them and they lose, I don't regret it, because they need to win this game. I'm predicting 34 for the Steelers.
Okay.
21 for the Buccaneers. Big win for the Steelers. Fitzpatrick will have success early. Steelers will turn it around. Antonio Brown will have over 140 yards in this game.
Oh, Mitch,
And it's
this is one of my top 5 things in life. Okay, first of all, food, obviously a big thing in life. Football, this is part of the answer to it. Sleep, some things I can't mention. But number 5 is drama. I like drama. When it doesn't have anything to do with me, especially in football, I like drama because it creates a little bit of controversy. We get to see things unfold and just week to week get it done. So with that being said, I want as much controversy and drama as possible. I'm taking the Buccaneers to win this game. Now, when I ranked it as my worst game on Monday Night Football earlier, that was pretty bad in hindsight. But I didn't think the Buccaneers were going to do so great. Deshaun Jackson leads the league in receiving yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick leads the league in passing yards. He looks great. His swagger is on point. I mean, the guy's connection with them, too, is fantastic with the clothing. And I just want to see the Buccaneers get this big victory and show that they're a good team. And Jameis Winston will not get his starting job back. The Steelers, there's so many questions. Even if I wasn't going to go for drama, I'm picking the Bucs because there's so many questions about the Steelers team that I have no confidence in them. Their defense, other than TJ Watt, looks like straight doo-doo. Or wait, the key word is garbage. They look like straight garbage. Their offense, Le'Veon Bell, not playing for a third week. When are they going to sign this man or trade him or do something other than let him sit on the bench or sit at home eating chips, watching this team unfold in front of him?
And going to strip clubs.
He was on a jet ski. He was on a jet ski the other day. Like, just chilling. Some guy filmed him. It was all cool. What? You're letting this guy sit over there in strip clubs? Oh, yeah, he promoted that thing. It was like my recount of all the situation. I'm like, are you kidding me? Antonio Brown doesn't show up to practice on Monday, but now he shows up on Wednesday, and he got punished, but Mike Tomlin's not going to explain what the punishment was, and all this other garbage. They got a lot of dysfunction, and I know you saying that they have to win this game, and they do. But I like the controversy and drama, so I'm going with the Buccaneers. It'll be interesting to see how that game unfolds. And you can watch it live with us on Monday night.
Yeah, watch it live with us. I'm predicting a Steelers victory. I think it's going to be the turning point in their season. But as Dylan puts it, 0-2-1?
0-2-1. Who would have thunk it?
I think I'm beating you in picks this week. I'm going to throw that out there.
Hold on. How many different ones do we have here? I think we only had like 2. Broncos, Ravens was different. Let's see. Any other games that we had?
Steelers.
The Steelers game, yeah. You picked Packers.
Did you pick the Bengals?
No, I picked the Panthers. We only have 2 games that are different this week.
Okay.
So you would have to get both right in order to totally beat me.
All right, we'll have to see what Kevole and AC have, but let's get to the chat and then we can peace out.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how Kev, especially because this man, I don't know how he did it, but he's turning it around in picks. I guess a new season, a fresh new start for him in picks this year. We're going up to the top of the comments. Jeremy Hansen, fact or fiction? Jets make the playoffs.
Fiction.
I said that before the season also.
I do think they're going to be, like I said, though.
They are who we thought they were? Is that the confidence?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Turtle says the survivor is whoever plays the Bills or the Cardinals. Well, you're on the Mitch boat right there for sure. Sebastian says Rams 35, Chargers 28. Odo's got a Ram for the victory, 27-13. There's that Mike Lombardi comment. 34-31 Rams, game of the week, Training Solution says. Bodo says he can't figure out why so many people love the Chargers. You want to explain your love for the Chargers?
They have a lot of talent, but they always F it up, and they're super exciting, and you can't help but like Phillip Rivers because he's a freaking maniac. Mm-hmm. And Keenan Allen's awesome, and Melvin Gordon's awesome, and Joey Bosa's awesome, and they have just cool players, and they're sort of like an underdog team because like they moved away from San Diego, and they really shouldn't have, and I don't know, how could you not like them?
How can you not like them?
Like, seriously, what is there to dislike about them?
Mm-hmm. Tom says, predict Kamara's stat line. I'm going to go with 18 carries for 143 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And then he's going to catch 5 balls for 43 yards and a touchdown.
I think he'll be more effective through the air. I'm going to go 11 catches for 85 yards.
Okay.
And 80 yards on the ground with 17 carries. So he'll touch the ball 28 times in this game.
I'll go down a little bit on yards. 140 is a lot. We'll go with 115. I think I have confidence in the 115. Rob is correct. BLV does not plagiarize, but then he follows it up with a 14-10 Sea Chickens victory. I can't agree.
Would you rather plagiarize or have the Seahawks win?
Well, can I say neither? I don't want to do either. I don't want either. Training Solutions says 21-17 Seahawks. Put some respect on the name. Sebastian says 28-17 Cowboys. Bodo says that the Seahawks are going to win 9-6. It'll be the worst game all season. Wow, that's harsh. That's very harsh. Rob says that the Seattle Seahawks fall 0-3. Pete Carroll's seat will be red hot. Not just hot, red hot tamales hot.
Hot tamales hot.
Hot tamales hot. Tom says Bears suck, and I just can't agree this year. Every other year before then, I would agree with you, but this year, I don't think so, buddy. Bodo says they're going to win 27-12. Rob says 21-3. Training Solutions 28-3. Rob says Joe Buck is announcing the Dallas Cowboys game. Damn it, I got to change.
I might have to switch my pick.
They're 0-1 this year, too. He called the Panthers game. Son of a bitch. Rob says 55-3 Patriots. Holy bananas. That's a big victory.
I hope so.
Training Solutions, a little bit more closer, 37-23 Pats way. Moto says 52-12 Pats. Sebastian says 66-3. Holy shit. What is it, these high-ass scores? Oh, my God. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. Moto says plus or minus 2 blunts at halftime for Gordon. I'm going to go.
Only 1.5.
He couldn't finish the other. He had to give it off. McDaniels gets the other half there.
Yeah.
Sebastian says 37-21 Bucks. Steelers going to get their first victory. Rob says 20-13. Deshaun's got a 30-21 Pittsburgh victory. Training Solutions 46-43 Bucks. High scoring. Y'all are really on the high scoring train.
46-40. That would be such a good game.
That would be insane. We did watch a 42-37 Chiefs game.
We did.
It's kind of close actually. 41-38 Bucks says Ram. Let's see who else. Bodo's line for Big Ben is ridiculous. 380 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 2 fumbles. You would get benched before any of those, like the 3rd turnover. It's ridiculous. But also says Bucks will have 21 in the first quarter. Jeez.
Whoa!
First quarter. I guess the Chiefs did do that in the first quarter. Maybe they'll do it again. Deshaun says Big Ben's throwing for over 400 yards. Rob says Winston's not getting his job back. Win or lose. I agree. And Moto, the last comment here, says we need to trade both Brown and Bell. We need to start over. Wow, that's a huge start over if you're trading 2 of the best in the game. So there you go. Those are comments.
All right. Thank you guys for sticking around here and watching us live. And if you didn't watch us live, thank you anyways. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This week, our live games will be the Monday night game, Steelers, Buccaneers, and also Sunday afternoon for most people if you're Eastern time zone or Central. If you're Pacific, it's a morning game. It's the Saints and Falcons. I keep forgetting for some reason. I don't know why, but hopefully that's a great game. It should be. It's an NFC South matchup. Always a good game. So stick around for those. Watch those. You can comment in those. It's just a fun time. We interact. We have fun. And we goof around. So if you guys are into that, again, subscribe, hit the like button. Yep. From the Bottom Line View, Dylan, Mitch, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, peace out. Good luck this weekend.